Alright. Okay. So, as the stream says, we are streaming Fate Extella today. Now, I have played some more Persona 5 Strikers off stream. I tried to record it just without commentary to upload it, and YouTube's being really fucking stupid, so we're just gonna ignore that and go to Fate Extella. I was seriously stuck on the uploading processing for 3 days, and it still isn't done. So whenever that finishes, there'll be a part 2. Until then, I'm not going to worry about it. In the meantime, we're going to get our convoluted lore on and start a new game of Fate Extella. Now, full disclosure, I am playing this off of remote play from my other room. So if shit gets a little laggy or looks a little crusty, that's why. In person, this game actually runs great. It's just the fact that I'm in a different room and can't be asked to unhook everything. A shooting star falls from the early dawn sky, a shining light streaming through the dark river of space. The Earth's surface would be unfamiliar to modern day eyes. All who dwell upon it look up. The people, the animals, even the plants. The comet goes on soaring through the sky. For all their great speed, most comets appear to hold still in the sky from the planet's perspective. And so the people believe this one to be another harmless spectacle, a tear-shaped jewel among the stars. They have no idea of the doom it brings. No idea that their time on this planet has come to an end. The surface of the Earth is on fire. The planet is on fire. The catastrophe destroys all civilizations without clemency or judgment. The beasts of nature suffer horrible mutations, run amok, and ultimately fall to ash. Prophets protest that the end has come too soon. Rulers call upon their people to fight. Scholars say that it's only too late. A few still cling to hope, believing that at least some of them will endure. Until the true threat makes its appearance. So for those of you who don't know anything about Fate Extra, Extella is the sequel to Fate Extra CCC, which is the sequel to Fate Extra. Fate Extra has a horrible anime adaptation called Last Encore that acts as an alternate bad ending to the game. This one assumes that, Hakuno wasn't killed at the beginning of the first episode. And actually won the Holy Grail War. But it'll explain a lot of that, so if you haven't played the original Fate Extra because it was a fairly niche PSP game, don't feel bad. Basically, this is Nero, she's the best Saber, and I refuse to hear otherwise. She's also one of my waifus. What I'm doing right now is called an Extella maneuver. Basically, it hits every enemy in the zone and then finishes off with a big attack. It's a great way to just fuck up a lot of enemies real quick. That's what the little blue bars down there are. The more you have, the faster you can do that. And this is Nero's Noble Phantasm. If you've never seen it before, it's my favorite in the series. Man, Nero's theme is so fucking good. Thou Saint Claudius. Just fucking incinerate everything. I love that attack so much. Technically, the Noble Phantasm is the theater, not the attack, but in this they're interchangeable. Also, yeah, this is the background of the entire Fate universe, by the way. What's happening right here? This takes place in a time called the Age of Heroes. So yeah, this background applies to all Type Moon lore, not specifically Fate Extra, so it's a cool bit of trivia there. That is all that remains of the Ancients' final records. After the passing of 30 sunsets, or perhaps a few more, mankind's ancestors accept their end. Only one fleeting warning survives for future generations. Here's the opening, it's so good. Best girl. Mid girl. Best girl. I still hope we find out what that third shard is eventually. Spoiler alert, we only find one of them in this game, and one in the sequel, Fate Extella Link. That purple shard, the third one, we have no idea what that one is. It might show up retroactively in Fate Extra Record, but chances are we're going to have to wait until Fate Extella 3 comes out, whenever it does. Oh, starting to crust up a little bit. Oh, there it goes, fixed itself. Like I said, I'm playing this over remote play. I was drawing on my desk and decided I wanted to take a break and play. So I had to unhook my art tablet and hook up my controller from my PS4, and that was considerably less steps than unhooking my laptop, moving it over, and then hooking up the capture card again. And I wanted to play this on PS4 for the better performance than play it on my Switch, which the Switch version of Fate Extella is decent, but it has a lot of frame rate issues. And for a Muso game, you really want good frame rates. Like, if Age of Calamity proved anything, it's that when FPS tanks in a Muso game, it's borderline unplayable. Anyway, the darkness is colossal. Imagine a deep hole, growing and swelling, nothingness spreading out to blind your eyes and eat at your heart. The sheer scale of it all, it's difficult to put into words. Cue Attack on Titan theme. It's glaring at you. It's targeting you. You should realize that without being told. You can see the glowing points of light are its eyes. A giant shadow from the unknown. It's looking at you. That giant shadow is not a servant. That's what your nature, your soul, screams. But it's not an enemy program. Your mind, your experiences, scream that out with conviction. All that comes from your body, your instincts, a cry of wordless terror on your quivering tongue. Okay, so these three, soul, mind, and body, you should recognize them from Kara no Kyokai. If you haven't watched Kara no Kyokai, watch that fucking movie. But basically, the same thing that Shiki has happens to your character in this. You end up with three separate personalities, basically. And each one is tied to a soul, a mind, and a body. So if you have any understanding of Kara no Kyokai and how Shiki's multiple personalities work, this should be familiar. That's a spoiler, technically, but happens in the first hour of this game, so. It's coming. It's here. The giant shadow spreads out with overwhelming speed. With that much mass and velocity, its kinetic energy is on par with a plane crash. Sorry, taking a drink. How much damage could it do to Seraph? A thought runs through your head. There's no way this ends well. There is only an instant before the darkness engulfs all, just as in the records and the warnings the moon witnessed long ago. So I'll ask you one last time. Someone with nothing to look back on. Someone who has nothing to flash in front of your eyes. An empty shell. Was that what you were? Are you really that kind of creature? No, I'm not. That's what my soul screams out. Something's there. That's what my mind screams out. Something irreplaceable. That's what my body screams out. In that moment, a voice illuminates the darkness. I see a gleaming light. It's like daybreak. The Titan disappears, and the darkness shatters. The voice and light that approach me. I think I misread that sentence, but whatever. My eyes become faint. Farewell to my righteous self. An old story that sent my consciousness drifting. The fond memories of the moon end here. So yeah, again, Fate Extra, this is a sequel to that. This takes place on the moon. There's a whole lot of sci-fi Fate lore that explains that. I'll get into it later once the fighting starts. This one sentence right here is how this game happens. Exempt from measurements refusal right. Again, spoiler. At the end of Fate Extra, when you touch the moon cell, you technically get erased. This is retconning that. So that's how this game happens, is that sentence right there. It's the only time it's addressed. Just explaining that, because people who have played Fate Extra and not watched, well, I guess you could technically watch Fate Extra Last Encore. I don't remember if that's the same thing that happens to Deadface or not. I've watched that show one time. It's not good. Anyway, Hakuno touches it and dies because she's an AI. This explains that she's basically immune to that. It's a retcon. And I am going to do Hakuno Kishinami. Why aren't you, actually typing in the text? What's going on here? Hakuno. Okay, that's weird. It wasn't using my keyboard. Whoa. What's going on with stream over here? Cancel. That was weird. Okay, Don't know why that was happening. Alright. At least didn't end the stream. Anyway. Oh, there it is. I already have it. Hakuno. Done. Last name. Kishinami. There it is. I am doing the... Come on. There we go. That button. Yes. I am doing the female Hakuno because she is the canon one. That, and I think she's cute, to be honest. But so yeah, this picks up directly after the end of Fate Extra. Fate Extra CCC is mentioned, but it sort of acted as a not quite hallucination, but the time frame in which that game happens is so short that you can not have played it, which most people won't have because it wasn't localized, and still not be missing anything. It's basically just referenced a couple times with Gilgamesh and I believe Karna. I've awakened from my slumber. It feels as if I'm witnessing an old dream. I'm sitting in a chair. Was I sleeping sitting up? As I raise my head, my joints ache. I must have been in this pose for a few hours at least. You're telling me I've been drawing for the past 4 hours. Best girl. Umu. I umuingly. A woman in red stands proudly in front of me. From the bottom of my heart, I feel a sigh of relief. Her golden hair, her slender body, the name of this beloved woman, together with whom I've overcome so many battles, is. What is her name? Again, takes place after Fate Extra. Nero and Hakuno enter a relationship in Fate Extra. This game assumes that that still happened. It also means that, Nero's route is the canon one. So yeah, expect a lot of flirting between these two. It's honestly really heartwarming. Even in her formal demeanor, I can feel her warmth and affection. But something's wrong. I know her very well. She's the most important person in the world to me. But even so, I can't remember her name. Do I have amnesia? This should be do I have amnesia again? Technically, you never got rid of it. Even if I do, I can at least remember what I first called her. Saber. She's known as the heroic spirit of the sword, and the servant of Hakuno Kishinami. Me. Notice the ring on her finger? Totally not symbolic of, winning the Holy Grail War and then presumably getting married. Yeah. Real subtle. Hmm. When I see her smile, I can feel the enjoyment from deep within her heart. That feeling flows through me, and I start to clear the fog from my mind. Or I guess from my head. I can vaguely remember awkward dreams, far removed from whatever my real memories are. But as long as she's by my side, I know I'll never have to fear or doubt a thing. Can't clear my throat. As Saber says those words, I look around the room for the first time. What is this? A throne? I knew I was sitting down, but this is no ordinary chair. All around me I see a room befitting of this throne, complete with carpeted stairs to separate the ruler from his men. Did Saber prepare all this? I suppose it's no surprise if she did, but there's something else. I feel like I'm missing something important. What exactly happened to me? Asleep for a whole day? And what's the moon cell core? My room was a mechanic in Fate Extra as well. It works a little differently in this one. It actually looks like a room instead of a classroom with a bunch of desks. If I remember correctly, she used a bunch of desks turned over as like a throne. Okay, so I'm gonna take a brief moment to explain Fate Extra. Fate Extra, in the year 20, I believe 64, the world was basically destroyed, like just gone. A bunch of mega corporations take over. There's a lot of political intrigue that's revolving around it. I believe it has something to do with the ley lines for mana circuits being dried up. It's been a while since I played Fate Extra. Anyway, they discover on the moon a supercomputer that has been observing the root and Earth called the Moon Cell Automaton. And the Moon Cell has been running a simulation of Earth on the moon called the Serial Phantasm. The Serial Phantasm can be hacked into by wizards, mages, typical Fate type moon lore, by sending their soul into the Serial Phantasm. Seraph noticed, well, not Seraph, the Serial Automaton, Moon Cell Automaton, realized what was happening and basically decided to emulate the Holy Grail Wars, but on a ridiculously large scale. It was something like 128, I want to say, servants at a time, and they would fight in basically a giant tournament where everyone had a set opponent they would fight off, and it would keep progressing in rounds until there was only 2 people left. Whoever won would get to the moon cell. And basically, whoever touches the moon cell gets complete control over Seraph. The Spiritron hacking that they do is a one-way trip. Anyone who does it can't go back to Earth. But you would basically be a god in a simulated Earth that was so perfect, most people couldn't tell the difference. And this happened for, I think, 20 wars. They gave a number in Fate Extra, but I don't remember which one it is. Anyway, super early on, a dude named Twice H. Peaceman took part in the war with a servant named Tamamo no Mai, and got his ass kicked. Like, ridiculously. And it got to the point where so many magi from Earth were being sent to the moon and dying that the population of Earth essentially ran out. And they had to, the Moon Cell Automaton, in order to keep facilitating this war, started uploading AI copies of people who had been alive on Earth. And it created an AI copy of Twice H. Peaceman. And he won the war. He had a special servant named Savior, who was Buddha. I don't remember if he used Tamamo initially and then got Buddha. I don't remember. Or if he had Buddha from the beginning. Either way. But he got to the Moon Cell Automaton. But because he was an AI and not a human, it basically refused him the right to rule Seraph. And so he just sat there for a couple hundred years, just like killing every master who came close to winning, until Hakuno, who was in a coma on Earth, ironically, a coma that only the original Twice H. Peaceman could have cured, had an AI copy of her uploaded to the Moon Cell, where she chooses Nero, Tamamo, or Emiya as her servant. The canon one, she chooses Nero. And she wins the war. She makes it to twice HP's men. She kills him. She defeats Buddha. It's all good. She goes to touch the moon cell. And it basically says, fuck you, you're an AI, you can't do that. In Fate Extra, you have a choice between two companions, Rin and I forget the other girl's name. What the fuck is her name? It's not important. I never choose her anyway. Rin's the obvious choice. Anyway, you have two options of touching the moon cell and basically transferring the winning rights over to one of the two allies you made during the game. And then Fate Extra ends. Fate Extra CCC kind of explains what happens after Hakuno is deleted, where she ends up being sent to the dark side of the moon and ends up teaming up with, I believe, Gilgamesh and fighting Bibi, who is trying to, recreate her own Holy Grail War, if I remember correctly. I've never played Extra CCC, I've only read the plot summations of it because, again, it was never localized, and I don't think an English patch of it exists. And I don't trust my Japanese ability to try and play that game. And then Fate Extella happens. And Fate Extella basically retcons the fact that she was deleted by saying that she was immune to that because of the events of CCC, which is what that thing Archimedes was talking about at the beginning of the game. So now you're all caught up. That's Fate Extra lore. Oh yeah, Fate Extra Last Encore is an alternate bad ending to Fate Extra where in the battle against Twice, Hakuno dies, and the moon cell basically, Seraph falls apart because it has run out of AIs that it's been recycling, and it doesn't know how to process defeating Twice, and it's really fucking stupid. And so it basically creates Deadface with the body imprint of a male Hakuno instead of the canonical female one, where every past dead AI that has ever existed in the Fate Extra Seraph who died, their memories are imprinted on him, and it's really, really fucking stupid, and it doesn't need to exist, it shouldn't exist, and it's a really bad adaptation that changes, not even changes, removes 90% of the plot of Fate Extra. Don't watch it, it's bad. Anyway. What should I do now? At the very least, I know our names. I'm Hakuno Kishinami. She answers to Saber. We clearly have some kind of relationship, but I don't know the details. And then there's this place. Where am I? And why does the word Seraph pop into my head when I ask myself that? I need a drink after explaining that. I basically just explained everything, so yeah. The story of the world on the moon. When I run those words through my head, pieces of memories drift and stir. The Holy Grail War. Many masters and their powerful servants. NPCs running the war from behind the scenes. So many combatants, but only one winner at the end of it all. And was that winner truly me? Alright. So yeah, that's basically what happened. I still recommend you play Fate Extra Record when it comes out. It's going to be good. Sleep sounds good, even if I am just starting to wake up. As I close my eyes, I realize that I have one more question for now. What's that ring? Oh yeah, Ryogi Shiki's in Fate Extra as an extra servant class named Monster. It's never explained how she got there, but yeah, she exists in the extra timeline. Saber shows off her ring to me. Her joy is so infectious that I want to get up and give her a hug. Honestly, I do too. Sorry about the cough. I feel like the only time I ever fucking cough is when I'm on stream. Like, I don't cough this much off stream. I don't understand why I do on. I even keep like a drink next to me the entire time too. I don't get it. At those words, the lights in the room go down. As I start to fall asleep, it grows dark outside, not because of the real sun, but because Seraph, a serial phantasm that manifests as its own world, wants it to. All actions, even those of nature, have meaning, but human actions are in their own special category, and so Saber and I have taken human form in our digital selves. I'm thinking too much. Maybe I should take Saber's advice and sleep. I know that when I wake up, a new world will be waiting for me. Fuck you, Elizabeth. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Kukulin, Li Shuen, Gawain, and Emiya. Kukulin was Rin's servant in Fate Extra. I believe Li Shuen was... Who the fuck was he the servant of? I don't fucking remember. Oh, but if I remember correctly, he was actually a berserker in Fate Extra. Or no, they changed that for Last Encore. I'm getting the two mixed up. God, the memory of Last Encore is corrupting me. Gawain is Leo's servant from Fate Extra. He plays a pretty big part in the story. I love this. So, again, for context, one of the routes you could pick for Fate Extra was having Emiya as your servant. I love how smug Emiya is about the fact that nobody knows his fucking name. There is actually an explanation for it in Fate Extra and Extella. Emiya is essentially an extra class servant, the same way like Avenger, Monster, Shielder, Ruler, those guys. Basically, he is summoned as a balancer to make sure the war goes correctly. You can recruit Artoria in this game as a secret optional character as well. Her storyline is the exact same. That actually explains it probably better than I could. So yeah, that's why Emiya's name is not registered in the Moon Cell, because he's technically not taking part in the war, he's just there watching over it. He just, isn't a ruler because he's a guardian. Although technically I think guardians are, or no, it's Shielder that mashes. Never mind. I see. So that's what she's talking about. Seraph is building new lands, and Saber and I are going out to claim them. Again, he's basically just there to keep watch. He sides with Nero specifically because of Hakuno. But yeah. Li Xuan just wants to kill shit. And Gawain sides with him because he... Not quite a debt, but there's stuff that happens with Leo and Extra that he wants to repay, basically. Oh, and Kukulin is kind of just there for the fuck of it. You could argue he's there because siding with Rin is the canon route for Fate Extra, but I guess, he's kind of just there. And now we finally get to battle again. It's only been, 41 minutes? Yep. It's not an Asuverse game if there ain't a fuckload of dialogue. To be fair, part of that's my fault because I decided to explain the entirety of Fate Extra because God knows nothing else will. So those good dudes are the default enemies of Fate Extra. They're called attack. They're called attack programs. They basically have no free will and just exist to attack. Huh? Wait, does that mean those things can kill me? That's bad. I'm not a fighter. I know one program, Codecast. Remember, they're in a romantic relationship. Like an explicitly romantic sexual relationship. I understand, even by her side, I'd be more of a liability than an ally. But I don't want to push her away from. I don't want that to push me away from her. Even if I can't fight, I still want to support her. If I didn't do that, I'd have no right to be called Saber's master. What? I'm glowing. I can hear Saber's voice. More than that, I can see her and feel her warmth. Somehow, the whole of my consciousness is now inside Saber's ring. Well, at least it feels like there's enough room in here, so I don't need to panic. In fact, I like this. Now I can be next to Saber and not slow her down. So the whole reason she has a shield now is specifically because you live in her ring? So she's doing that to protect you? She doesn't have a shield in extra CCC. She doesn't have one in Extella Link because you're not in the ring anymore. And she doesn't have one in Last Encore. Alright. It's weird because the dash button for this is R1 and the dash for Persona 5 Strikers is R2. But Noble Phantasm is R2 in this game. So I'm going to end up shooting off Noble Phantasms fucking constantly. And in Persona 5, I keep activating my persona when I mean to dash. But otherwise, the controls are almost identical. I mean, it's a Muso game, so every Muso game, they're kind of the same. This wasn't made by or what the fuck is the Koei Tecmo? It's not made by Koei Tecmo, but I mean, just look at it. It's clearly heavily inspired. Get those code casts. Or no, those are install skills, my bad. Get my extra lore mixed up. I'm a bad fan. Alright, yeah, you're over here. Yeah, she is a terrible band. Fucking hate Elizabeth. Alright, so if you look at the map in the top corner, those little orange cubes on two, or I guess they're numbered by keys, so that's not a good example. But the little flashing orange cubes, there's three of those on most maps. Some of them don't have them. Typically, the final battles for each faction. Anyway, these, when I pick up all three of them, I can use a Noble Phantasm once per battle. That's changed in Fate Extella Link, where you can use them multiple times. But this is not Extella Link, this is Extella. They are different games. Extella Link is not a Persona 5 Royal or a Persona 4 Golden type game. It is a full-fledged sequel, completely different story, different gameplay, stuff like that. So unfortunately, that means I have to save up my Noble Phantasms basically until the boss servant shows up. Or as an, oh shit button, but if I press start here, I pull up my command seals, and basically I have this one right here, return to battle, or I guess it doesn't show up because I'm alive, but there's one that shows up when you die that will completely bring you back to life. And so it's like, you really don't need an oh shit button because you have three of them if you die. Got some orange ass fire. Alright, next one is in 2, so we'll go save Kukulin. You can tell that because there's segments here, it actually is a lot closer to a traditional Muso game than Persona 5 Strikers is, since Strikers is, or Scramble, Persona 5 Scramble is a, giant area map that you kind of just have little 20 enemy encounters in. I honestly don't like that, by the way. I prefer this style, where it's just fuck you numbers of enemies on the map. You just chew through them. And, canonically, that's how the battles in Persona look. If anyone's seen the first episode of Persona 4 Golden's animation, you'll know what I'm talking about. Also, that J-pop playing in the background, that's Elizabeth. We'll meet her in a minute. She fucking sucks. I hate her. She's an annoying piece of shit. And is an ongoing pain in the ass in this game. Get back here, you fucking bitch. There we go. I don't have a whole lot of combos right now because new game, but you gain levels as you fight, and you automatically unlock new combos based on your level. Okay. So I want to claim these two maps before I go to Area 4, because Area 4 will complete the regime matrix. And once that happens, Elizabeth will show up and fight me. I don't want to have unclaimed territory when that happens. There we go, now one's shown up. Alright, so it looks like I have to go to 4 and save them, but I'm gonna finish off this area first. I'm basically gonna keep attacking until the aggressor spawn. Yep. And then hit him with an Extella maneuver to kill them both. You get unlimited Extella maneuvers, you just have to charge them up. But I like saving them for when there's aggressors, because you can instantly take them out. And the other alternative is you could use them to spawn aggressors, but sometimes not all of them spawn just because you killed a whole fuckload of enemies. Sometimes you still have to kill a fuckload of enemies. So I like using it more as a finishing off of a sector rather than a getting to the point aggressor spawn type deal. But it's really just personal preference. It charges up so fast that you can use it basically in 2 minutes. I mean, technically, you can use it almost instantly once you have the first bar filled up. It just gets stronger the more blue bars you have. You can chain it together longer and just do more damage overall. And I think you need at least 2 to pull off the finishing move. But I might be mistaken. It's been a while. She's fucking singing again. I fucking hate you, Elizabeth Bathory. You can also combo into it like that. Yeah, see what I mean? I just did a full Extella combo, or Extella maneuver, and it only spawned 1 aggressor. Well, shit's getting real fucking crusty. What's going on here? I think my internet just... No, I'm still streaming. It still says, excellent connection. I can speak real good English. So I think it's just remote play fucking itself for a minute. I might have to reconnect if it goes down. The plant's invading again. Already got 4,000 KOs. Alright, now there's aggressors. Okay. I'm just gonna finish off this one real quick. I'm gonna charge up 1 and see if it actually does require 2 to do the thing. Nope, okay. You only need 1 in order to do the finisher. It just gets stronger if you have multiple. Can't see what the fuck I'm doing. Camera's getting all over the place. There you are. Oh, I was up against the statue, that's why. Alright. Time to go introduce ourselves to Elizabeth. Unfucking fortunately. Yeah, they do have poor taste. She's fucking horrible. I genuinely don't understand how anyone likes Elizabeth. She's a horrible fucking character. Kukelin's words suddenly echo in my mind. Is she the weird band he was talking about? There's the plant. I know, it's a weird name for those. So, what plants do, as she's explaining, is they summon a fuck you amount of aggressors constantly until you kill them. And they can use them to invade other sectors. So basically, when one's on a map, you either want to prioritize it, or you want to prioritize the areas surrounding it. That way you can sort of like delay the enemy's spread, or you can just cancel it outright. The problem is, in a lot of maps, they just continue spawning aggressors and enemy sectors. Or not aggressors, plants and enemy sectors. So it's like, well, they're just really annoying to deal with, to be honest. Alright, we're almost at the final battle of this map. I'm gonna save my Extella maneuver because I want to use it to kick the shit out of the little worm. Because if I remember correctly on this first map, she survives your... Fuck! That was me setting down my controller and accidentally hitting the Noble Phantasm button. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure she survives your Noble Phantasm. And I just fucking wasted it. So yeah, I guess it's a good thing I didn't use the Extella maneuver. Oh man, this battle's gonna be a shit show. Well, I'm on easy mode, and I have a almost full Extella maneuver, so it shouldn't be too bad. Oh yeah, by the way, you can click left and switch over to Emiya. He has his own moveset as well. But it's kind of like fucking limited as hell right now because it's tied to level. So if you don't use him, you don't gain new attacks. And I haven't used him, so he doesn't have any attacks. Fuck you, Elizabeth. I'd say you could suck my dick, but I genuinely don't want you to. Oh yeah, enemy servants will chase you across the map to whatever sector you're in, so it's no point trying to run from them. It's honestly better to just fucking beeline straight towards them. Okay, hit her point blank. The enemy you hit with the Extella maneuver takes the most damage from it. So against enemy servants, you kind of want to prioritize whacking them with it, as opposed to hitting a regular enemy that happens to be next to them. If you still do that, like hit an enemy, not the servant you're targeting, you will still do damage to them. It's just not nearly as much. That was a counter. That happens occasionally. It's when you press attack and your attack lands right before an enemy's attack will. It does not happen very often because there's like startup lag and shit on a lot of attacks. So it's usually better just to go try to dodge it or to shield, which you can do. See, that was a counter right there that I just did. This battle goes by a lot faster if you're not an idiot and don't waste your Noble Phantasm. There we go, she's dead. Best girl. Nice, all EX. I took 0 damage. Huh. Leveled up to level 5. No, you're just really fucking lame, Elizabeth. Of course it is. So I tell her that, from right by her side. I say it while reaching out to touch her fingers. As the Emperor commands, I touch her gently. I could never touch her any other way. It feels like touching the world's most beautiful rose, or, more appropriately, like touching the world's most beautiful, powerful woman. Again, in a sexual relationship. Putting that out there. Can't stress that. I mean, you never see anything. Like, they don't fuck or anything. Unlike some Fate series. But it is ridiculously heavily implied that they do, just off screen. It's true, there are no further signs of the enemy. Just as Saber says, this area has become her territory. That being said, I can stay by your side a bit longer. Or can I? In that instant, a creak snaps from inside and outside my body. Did I exhale? Did I speak? I don't know what just came out of my lips. A low groan? A short scream? Whatever sound I made, it's because I'm in agony. Even my virtual body feels pain. The moon cell is no different from the real world in that regard. Sense is still sense, and pain is still pain, and death is still death. Here's Tamamo. Castor. Who is that servant? Why do I feel nostalgic about her? So this is basically how they retconned the route choice for choosing Castor instead of Nero. Is They basically say that she just helped you out of her own free will, and you technically had both of them. So yeah, that's kind of how they're doing that instead of, well, you'll see. I know her. I can't remember exactly, but I'm certain I know the servant. Her name is. Something floats in the back of my mind, like old footage. No, like memories. That servant in blue is. It was just when I'd won the Moon's Holy Grail War. There were several people around me masters, servants, and NPCs. I proceeded towards the Moon Cell core, and then. Then what? Why is Hakuno barefoot, though? That's the part that always confused me. My body seizes up in pain. I can't even speak. What's going on? That being next to Castor is definitely me. The same face, the same features. From the look of it, we even have the same breathing pattern. Sure, Nero. She's staring at me. Despite her threatening words, she seems to sympathize with my pain. The surprise appearance of Castor and her partner had distracted me for a moment, but now I feel that pain again. Not only physical pain, but a deep sense of failure. Slowly, it begins to subside. I still can't move yet, but it doesn't hurt that much. At least I'm stuck looking towards Saber. So lewd. Inside the regalia, it felt just like holding her hand, warm and safe. I could feel my pulse racing against her fingers. I talked to Saber about the regalia. I want to know everything she does. Material wise, it looks like it's made out of white gold, though of course it's really just a collection of data. Could it be some sort of key code? She keeps referencing the royal authority, but what exactly does that mean? Hmm? What's with that odd reaction? Is that really confidence she's giving off, or is it just bravado this time? I agree from the bottom of my heart. The ring's white golden sheen perfectly matches her finger. Beautiful? Of course. Precious? Unquestionably. Just wearing it increases Saber's charm tenfold, enough to overcome any opposing force. Hmm. Okay. I am actually going to call the stream here just because my throat is hurting from the giant fucking lore dump I did earlier. But I will probably play this game more off and on. I don't know if I'm going to stream Persona 5 Royal, or not Royal, Scramble again. Because it still, like I'm looking at it right now, and it still says processing 60%. And it said that for 2 days now. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But I might stream this more often. I might do a stream of that. I'm in Sendai. I'm in Sendai right now. I just made it through the second part of the jail of Sendai, so I might do a stream of that at some point. Until then, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully my giant Fate lore dump was enough to, answer some questions about Fate Extra, because that thing's lore is all over the place. But I will see you guys next time, and have a good night.